Good morning and welcome to challenge day 2. So today should be pretty quick. Yesterday was longer because it was the very first day and it was to get you set up. But today is not quite so long. So today's challenge ultimately is that you will create coupon books for each other. And I know it sounds kind of cheesy and kind of lame, but there's a certain structure that I have for this, and that hopefully it will bring meaning and purpose to it. But I also know that I wrote a coupon book back for my husband like 10 years ago. I found it recently. I don't know that he ever used one of the coupons out of it, but he loved looking through it, and it meant so much to him. So I would venture to say that for kids, they'll like it even more. But like I said, there is a certain structure to this. So let's first talk about the 5 love languages. There's quality time, acts of service, physical touch, gifts, and words of affirmation. And we are all interested in all 5 of them. We all need physical touch at some time. We all need gifts at some time. Like, we all need these things to feel wanted and loved and affirmed. But we typically have 1 or 2 that we appreciate more than others. Similarly, with the learning styles, there are 3 main learning styles, and that's auditory, kinesthetic, and visual. And I use this a lot in my teaching. I would do all 3 to make sure that everybody was covered. But even with learning styles, it communicates a lot about us. So both learning styles and love languages communicates a lot about who we are and who our kids are. So first and foremost, quality time, just spending time together, loving each other, having meaningful conversation, acts of service. And let me go back and say that with our love languages, there's the language of giving those out, so giving those 5 things out, and there's the language of receiving. So somebody may really appreciate showing others love by giving them quality time, but they would more appreciate, say, a hug and physical touch. So 5 love languages. I already went over quality time. Acts of service, the idea that there is something that you are actively doing for them and serving them. Physical touch, it can be, especially with kids, like everybody shies away from that phrase whenever kids are involved, but it doesn't have to be that way. You can talk about hugs, you can talk about massages, you can talk about anything that puts you in close quarters. You can talk about cuddling and tickling and all kinds of things that are still very, very appropriate within the family unit. Gift giving, so actual tangible gifts, and then words of affirmation, so just voicing how you feel about another person or what you see them doing right. So that's a really brief sky-high overview of the love languages. And then the learning styles with auditory, visual, and kinesthetic. A lot of times families will interact with each other and those minor squabbles, not the ones where you can tell people are like really butting heads, but a lot of the minor squabbles, families will be saying the same thing, but because of personalities and learning styles, they are arguing because they don't know that they're saying the same thing. People that are auditory learners are a lot of times are going to say, I hear what you're saying. I hear that. Different words that have to do with hearing and sound and that sort of thing. People that are visual are going to say, I see you, I saw that, I got a glimpse of what you mean. People that are kinesthetic, they're going to talk more with actions and verbs and getting involved by saying, like, I'm down with that, I dig that, I feel you. Those types of things. And so whenever we bring in our personalities and we bring in our learning styles, there can sometimes be clashes when we are trying to get to the exact same point. So as a parent, I urge you to, or grandparent or professional, whatever, I urge you to start tuning your ear to how each person in your family speaks so that you can start changing some of your words to then match that of who you're talking to, because a lot of times it will help get more of an equilibrium when discussing things. So Sorry, I thought I heard a baby crying. So, with the coupon book, it doesn't necessarily have to do with love languages, not with love languages, with the learning styles, but I wanted to cover both at the same time because they both play into our personalities. So for the coupon book, you guessed it, you're going to do one for each of the 5 love languages, and then you're going to include a sacrifice. The sacrifice can be tied in with one of them, or it can be a 6th. And so I'm just going to give you a few ideas. Again, if you have toddlers, just do this for your toddlers and sit down and read it to them. If you have older kids, have them participate in making these coupon books with you. So, quality time. That one is probably, excuse me, that one is probably the easiest of all of them because obviously it's numerous. Like, let's go to a baseball game, let's go on a hike, let's play a board game, let's sit down and have a conversation, let's cook dinner together, the sky is the limit. Just spend time together. Find something that you know the person you're giving it to would appreciate. And so this is something we need to talk about with our kids that are making them as well. It's not about you when you're making the coupon book. It's about building the relationship. So what's something that you think that person would want to do? And maybe if it's if the quality time one is a sacrifice, maybe you don't like doing it. Maybe it's you really hate folding clothes, but you know that the other person really hates it too. So you're going to go help fold clothes and spend quality time together, talking or listening to music and singing, whatever it might be. Acts of service. Maybe the coupon says, I'm going to wake up 5 minutes earlier every morning so that I can put a pot of coffee on. Or maybe for a week I will, help you bring in stuff from the car. Whatever. Again, quality time and acts of service are 2 of the easier coupons to create. Physical touch. So maybe that coupon says, let's cuddle and watch a movie. Let me give you a hug, which sounds, but maybe you add something with it. Maybe I'll give you a massage. Maybe it's just something that you can do together where you're in close proximity with each other. So a lot of pedal boats, you can put your arm around each other, or maybe you could learn to skateboard together where you're on the same board, or maybe it's going, if you have little kids, swinging because you have to push them swinging. It doesn't have to, don't confine yourself in a box, and don't let your kids confine themselves in a box. Just be creative and think through it. Gift giving. So this one, you can also be really creative. So my kids like to eat my food off my plate. So maybe one of my coupons is, I'll give you the last bite. Or you can do something for an actual item. So the coupon could say, for anything that you've really wanted for a long time that costs under $10, under $25, you name the price. Then you can also, you can do so much. You can do a yes day. That can be for gifts, but it can also be for words of affirmation. So we'll talk about words of affirmation. Words of affirmation, you can do a yes day because you want to affirm them. And in the yes day, you continually give that person words of encouragement and how much you appreciate them. But if you haven't seen what a yes day is it gives your kids the opportunity to do basically anything they want. Obviously, there are still rules and there are still parameters, but instead of kids are always like, can we go do this? Can we get this? Like, give them a yes day where everything that they ask to do that day is a yes, and throughout that you can pour into them those words of affirmation. For our kids, they don't have those resources to just say that they want to do a yes day, so they could do something like just writing a poem, or maybe it's just a coupon to write you a poem in the future, or maybe they just write a word of affirmation inside the coupon book. And so then you can continually go back to it. Lots of open-endedness here. So we've talked about the different love languages. We've talked about the different learning styles, and then about doing the coupon book, which is the main part of the challenge. But don't forget to do the second of the encouragement notes. I gave you that printable yesterday. It's in your email. And I will try to get a printable to you to do the coupon books, but it may be another day or two because I'm in the middle of it. And I know that doing the coupon books is really easy to just cut out paper and write it out and staple it together. So do the coupon books. I'd love to see pictures of them if you decorate them or whatever you do with them. But that's today's challenge. Go ahead and jump in our group and let us know about it. Send me emails, whatever. And thank you so much for joining along in the Reset Challenge. Have a great Sunday, and I will talk to you later. Bye.